Again, sir, your phone is the 4714, correct?
Yes.
Her phone is the 9407, correct?
Yes.
And this is page 889. You see that text from you to Ms. McLean, sir? Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when was that?
On 3/2/20.
March 2nd of 2020. What did you say to her?
I want to see your boobs.
I want to see your boobs. Did she show you her boobs?
I don't recall.
You don't recall? Give me that, please. In the same conversation, sir, do you recall that the two of you were talking about the pandemic and her state of mind, and it was that she had it on a reliable source, that they're going to implement shelter in place, and that they had the National Guard called in? Do you recall her saying that to you?
No.
Do you recall discussing the pandemic with her? Do you
No.
recall discussing friends that you knew that had died from the pandemic with her?
No.
Do you recall her discussing with you friends that had died, relatives in the pandemic, sir?
I don't really recall who.
And you were living in your house at this time, right?
Yeah.
You were safe in your house, weren't you?
Yeah.
And she was living in Harry's house, right?
I guess so.
You want to mark those for ID, Mr. Reddington?
Yes, you were.
The double H.
Do you recall asking her to put on her best sexy outfit, telling her she's bad and naughty?
Objection.
Sustained.
No.
Did you ever recall, sir, that you went over to, this would be on page 1307. Do you recall, now this is April 10th of 2020. You knew in April of 2020 that Harry and his wife were in the process of trying to negotiate a settlement, right?
I don't recall that.
Well, you recall, you knew, let's do it like this. You knew that they were separated, correct?
I guess so.
You knew he was living out of state in Florida, correct?
Yeah.
Because he had talked to him. You know he was living in a trailer, right?
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, I get what?
What is that you just said there, Grant? What is that?
I guess so, yeah.
All right, he's living in a trailer and he would talk to you very seldomly to let you know what you were saying, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Recall him sending you a text that you would forward it to Katie LOL because he had said to you that he was in dire fear of dying in the pandemic and that it was not good, Kurt? Remember that one?
I don't really remember, but yeah.
But yeah, you don't remember, but yeah, and that he was in dire fear of dying from the pandemic and that he told you it was not good and that he was not well and asked if he could stay with you, right?
He did ask me that.
Right, you said I'll get back to you on that one, let's have dinner. What you said, right?
I guess so, yeah.
You recall that April 10th of 2020, he sent you a text that he said, I got an email, he's not negotiating us staying here. He's not negotiating, remember that?
No.
But when she said to you, us staying here, that would mean her and her 3 kids staying in his house, right?
I guess so.
And he's not negotiating, and she was upset about that, right?
I guess so.
And you then responded, come on. Remember that?
No.
And then she said, so I got to move forward. Remember that?
No.
And then you said, with what? And she said, everything. She said, if he's not negotiating, then this leaves me no choice. And then you went on and said, this key, he's crazy to keep going. You told him, right? You told her.
I guess so.
And then she said, he'll be broke from lawyers. Did you recall anything about those conversations, sir?
No, I
Do you
don't.
recall her ever reaching out to you for advice or assistance with her negotiations?
No, I don't really recall that.
Double I for identification.
As it relates to her state of mind, sir, on April 21st, when things were really heightening with the pandemic, do you recall, and this would be page 1465, that she told you 2 friends' parents died yesterday?
Objection.
Sustained.
Does that at least refresh your memory as to further conversations?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, okay, Mark, for please.
Double J for identification.
And then, on April 23rd, sir, page 1493, is when you indicated you sent her a text in the morning, I'm still in bed, help me. And then she told you that she was talking to people on the phone. Do you recall that, telling her you were in bed?
Form.
Sustained. Rephrase it, please.
Do you recall, around April, the end of April, 2004, you were texting her and started off the morning by saying, I'm still in bed. Do you remember that?
No.
Do you recall texting her and her indicating, around that time, I'm on the phone, and she was on the phone with a number of people, and you kept asking her when she was going to be able to FaceTime and text you?
Objection.
Sustained.
Good.
Sustained.
Do you recall during the course of that conversation that you don't recall, that she said, you are so naughty, you're a bad, bad boy. Do you remember that, sir?
Sustained.
No.
Do you recall indicating, sir, that I'll talk to him because she was complaining that he still would not settle the case? Do you remember that, sir?
No.
You don't recall saying you'll talk to him?
Huh?
You don't recall saying I'll talk to him, meaning Harry?
I might have. I don't.
Right, you might have. And when you say to her, because she was complaining that he wouldn't settle, and you said, I'll talk to him. What was that about? What were you going to say to him? Were you going to advise him?
I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember.
Did you ever talk to him about settling the case, the probate case?
I don't recall.
April 23rd? No, you don't remember?
JK for identification.
Do you recall, sir, that she actually shared with you in detail the negotiations that she had with Harry about getting the house or getting on the deed of the house, about him giving her money on a post-nup agreement? She talked to you about that. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that. I don't think she did.
Okay. Do you remember her saying, Harry's not getting the things I was saying during a joint meeting that they had of lawyers and Kate McLean and Harry? I think Harry didn't get the things I'm saying because they kept muting me. This is back when you had to do things by Zoom. Remember her saying that to you?
No, I don't.
And that she said this has to be wrapped up no later than May 1st, him home because of the virus? Do you remember anything like that?
No, this is like 5 years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah. Do you remember saying, okay, I'll talk to him? And that would be this, page 1513. I'll talk to him. Again, what are you going to talk to him about?
I don't recall.
Were you going to call him up as a guy that's kind of not a good friend, just an acquaintance, and give him advice on what he should do about the house and settling it and giving her the house?
That's not my choice.
Sustained. Rephrase it, please.
Do you remember her saying, as long as he agrees to the post-nup, we're okay?
I don't remember that.
Oh, this is getting more and more uncomfortable by the minute, isn't it? So let me bring in our analyst this hour. Sunny Slaughter is joining us and watching us along here. Sunny, good morning to you. Tell me, as you're watching this, we've been kind of discussing things on our end here at Court TV, and curious if you think, do you think this guy is guilt-ridden? I mean, obviously he's embarrassed, he's uncomfortable, he wants out of the witness box, but might he have some guilt too, Sunny?
Good morning, Julie. It's so good to see you. And hey to the courties. I think he does have a lot of guilt. This is so uncomfortable. And of course, I've been watching along and I've been saying behind the scenes, let me just say, Judge, can I just stipulate to the fact that I was flirting with the victim, and these are text messages. I don't recall them all, but he probably does have a lot of guilt around the fact that he was having this kind of inappropriate relationship text message with the victim, and that he did not see that there was potential harm that could come to her based on some of this and other things that were happening at the time.
Right. You're right, Sunny. This is really bad. We know Katie McLean wound up dead at the hands of her husband, and the defense is embracing the facts that are bad in order to get a lesser intent. We know that the doctor made some admissions, and whether they can get there to something less than first degree is a valid question. They might be able to, especially on these facts with this neighbor and the relationship that was going on there emotionally. Sunny, kindly stand by, please. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, more from the, should we say, all too friendly neighbor, Curt.
Lori Daybell.
Already convicted for the murders of her children.
Doomsday cult mom is now lawyer Lori.
She's representing herself.
On charges of conspiring to murder her fourth husband.
She said, I can murder you now.
She really thinks she's equipped to try this case.
She appears very sure of herself.
I have real trial experience.
It's going to be a strange trial. We'll see how it plays out.
The Cult Mom Conspiracy Trial, this week following jury selection, only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. We're in Massachusetts this morning for the trial of Dr. Ingolf Tuerk. He's looking at life in prison if he's convicted of the first-degree murder of his wife. His defense team, though, was saying this was more of a heat of passion type crime, that they got into a drunken fight, that she hit him over the head with a glass, and the rest is history. Sadly, she was strangled to death, and his next move was to put her body in a pond. He did point police in the location of her body. They recovered her, and he is fighting this charge, clearly hoping for something lesser. So was it a heat of passion type crime? Well, we know that what was going on with the neighbor might have contributed to this. This friendly neighbor named Curt, who was sending inappropriate messages back and forth with Katie McLean, is on the stand facing cross-examination. Let's go back in.
Then you said, I'll call you. So you have basically, you have no memories apparently at all of assisting her in the sense of talking to him about settling the probate case, the divorce between the two of them, right? Is that right?
Right.
LL for identification.
Do you recall 1596, where she was complaining that he was complaining about being in Florida, and she said to you, well, he's not trying to take care of 3 kids and a dog, and you're like, right, I agree, and then she said, he has tons of money. Do you remember that, sir?
I don't really remember it, but if it says that.
What?
I don't remember it, but if it says that.
Right, and then you say, yup. And that she then said, his state of mind, he's saying he can't stay at a hotel. He's afraid of COVID. And this is back in May 5 of 2020. She's sharing with you, confiding in you, her conversations with her husband that was saying he couldn't stay in a hotel because he's afraid of COVID. May 5, 20. Remember that.
I guess he was, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he was, because he'd already texted you a couple of times about his death fear about that, right?
Yeah.
And you said, I agree, is what you said, sir. Right?
Yeah.
Do you recall responding, tell him to suck it up?
No.
On May 6th, do you recall sending her a text saying, I'll meet you in the garage in 5? Do you recall that, sir?
No.
Is that one of the days that you recall going to the garage?
I don't know why I would have gone to the garage.
Okay. Do you remember telling her on May 6th at 6:41 p.m.? And again, 4714 is your phone, 9407 is her phone, right?
Yeah.
And showing you this, sir. Text. Tell her I'll meet you in the garage.
I guess.
You guess. And then you said in 5. Tell her that?
Yeah.
Objection as to procedure at this point.
Procedure?
Okay, so ask him if it refreshes his recollection.
Does that refresh your memory, sir, that you told her that you'd meet her in the garage in 5?
I guess so.
Okay. And then when she responded, I'm just too good to you. Do you recall that, sir? Right there.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Okay. And have in mind that this would be on May 6th, 2020, at, make sure I read that right, 6:42 in the evening, right?
Yeah.
6:45, okay? You met her in the garage, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what did you do in the garage?
I think she gave me food for some reason.
She gave you food.
Yeah, it was like, wasn't that around the holiday? I didn't have family around, and
What holiday? This is May 6th.
she had like friends over or whatever, had extra food, and I don't remember.
So without having at least any text conversation, you knew that she had food, so you said, I'll come to the garage and see you in 5?
No, I don't really recall the whole thing. I don't.
So May 6th, 2020, at 7:09, which is about 20 minutes later, she texted you, you were so nervous. It was cute. My mind was racing. And you responded, me too. You remember that, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, why was your mind racing and why were you nervous?
Because I didn't want to be at that house.
Sustained. Wait for the objection, sir. Go ahead, next question.
Do you recall her indicating, I'm going to come?
No.
Okay, overrule, next question.
Well,
And for
would you agree, sir, that you were in love with Kate McLean?
Was I what?
That you were in love or had feelings for Kate McLean?
Just as friends.
Just as friends. Do you recall, and this would be on May 7th, page 1639, texting her, I think you and I are feeling the same. And then you texted again, hello, and then you texted again. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Just friends.
So when you said, I think you and I are feeling the same, after all this time, you were just friends?
I don't know why, but just friends.
And finally, sir, around page 1646, and she's providing you information as to her state of mind about her husband's condition during the pandemic, and I think she's objecting.
Ask the question.
She indicated to you that she was upset. You said, why? What happened? She indicated to you he's hurt and he needs my help. And then she said he's hurt. He looks bad. and you asked, how was your visit with him? She said, he looks bad, Curt, very bad. He's on tons of medication, high blood pressure. You said, sad. Yeah, it's more his spirit. It's collapsed. He's different.
Overruled.
She share that with you, sir?
I guess she did.
Did you care?
Of course, you don't want someone to, be hurting or anything.
And then you asked her, how was he towards you? And then she responded, so gentle and loving. Kept tearing up, saying, I love you so much, Katie. I never was made love by him like that last night. And you said, that's good. Do you recall her sharing that with you?
I mean, if you say so, there.
What?
If you read it, yeah.